Hello and welcome to episode 13 of the Neon 1000, my continuing exploration of this book, given away with Neon magazine in the late 90s. 1000 essential movies on video, cut up into handy little categories of 10. So you've got prison movies, Italian movies, great bad guy movies, food movies, etc, etc. Today I'm going to be looking at McVicar, which was 355 in the book, under the gangster movies, brackets British. There's also an American gangster movies category. When the book was published, it wasn't actually available to own on video, it was only available to rent. The film follows John McVicar, who was a career criminal in the 1960s, not a very successful one, not as notorious as the Craze. He's probably just as famous for being an escapee. He escaped numerous times from numerous prisons. The film starts with almost a disclaimer, which I will read it word for word. The prison escape shown in this film is based on true fact. Certain other events and characters have been fictionalized. The prison escape is based on fact. It's not fact, it's just based on fact. So there's probably a few little tweaks to history right there. The term based on true fact suggests that the prison escape is not wholly true. And it isn't, because if you look into it, there were 3 prisoners that escaped, not 2, as featured in the movie. But then the rest of the film, characters and events have been fictionalised, which when you look into it, it's all just a bit of a jumble. First half of the film, he is in Durham prison, and that leads to his escape attempt, which is kind of in the middle. And the second half, he's on the run, which he was for like 2 years, and during that time, he commits robbery in an armoured car, which isn't what happened. The events of McVicar's actual life are different though. So in 1964, he committed a jewellery robbery, was caught, sentenced to 8 years, which is what they say he's in Durham prison for. Then he is later charged with robbery of a security van, and then given an extra 15 years. At this point he's in Durham, and that is where he makes his escape attempt, tunnelling out. So in the film, the armed car robbery doesn't happen until he escapes from Durham. In actual reality, it happened before he went to Durham and was the reason he went to Durham. So they just kind of made a lot of stuff up. Co-written and directed by Tom Clegg, who doesn't have a huge list of movie credits, but he did direct 16 TV movies of Sharp, which is about a soldier played by Sean Bean. Now, I don't know how well these were received anywhere else in the world, but during the 90s, these were always on TV, and they were always a big deal when they're going to be on. It's like the latest Sharp adventure, whatever. Basically made Sean Bean famous. The film was produced by the Who Films Limited, a company that was set up to produce movies that the Who wanted to make, such as Quadrophenia, The Kids Alright, and McVicar. McVicar was played by Who frontman Roger Daltrey. He didn't reach the leading man status that he wanted, but he did appear in a few movies, such as Lightning Jack and If Looks Could Kill / Teen Agent, depending on where in the world you watched it. He also appears as the father in the TV series Buddy and the subsequent sequel film, Budding Song, starring Chesney Hawkes. I am the one and only, nobody I'd rather be. The film also features fellow musician Adam Faith, who is McVicar's fellow escapee, but is unfortunately captured, or fortunately for him, not maybe for society. Adam Faith does have a few acting credits, but these are mainly from the 60s when he was somewhat of a heartthrob on the music scene. Stephen Burkoff, who has appeared in all kinds of things. Before McVicar, he appeared in Stanley Kubrick movies A Clockwork Orange and Barry Lyndon. After that, he appeared in Girl with Dragon Tattoo, Legionnaire, Octopussy, and probably most famous of all, the bad guy in Beverly Hills Cop. There are 2 people in it who probably won't mean much to anyone outside the UK, but fixtures of our TV screens. Billy Murray, who had a very long stint on a show called The Bill, and was later in EastEnders, and largely plays cops and crooks. And someone who will mean nothing unless you were a child of a very particular age, Georgina Hale, aka the second Teabag. I'd give McVicar maybe a 3 out of 5. It does have its moments, but there really isn't anything to get me to go back and watch it again. One and done, I reckon. I don't know if it's down to the writing, the directing, or Roger Daltrey himself, but McVicar isn't that interesting a character. If you did like it though, why not try The Krays, starring Spandau Ballet's The Kemp Brothers, with Ronnie and Reggie Kray, made in a similar time, obviously set in the 60s and heyday of the Krays. Very similar style, British filmmaking basically. Or you could watch Legend, the Tom Hardy version of the Kray story, which is a much better movie. Or the greatest prison escape movie that isn't The Great Escape, The Shawshank Redemption, about a great prison escape. That's all I've got time for. So long, farewell.